Lovers of lore, thank you for joining me for this March of the Machine Aftermath lore video. There has been some big changes in the multiverse, and today we're going to go on a tour taking a look at different locations and people to see what's going on as a result of the end of the Phyrexian invasion. Now, some of the images you're going to see are going to be kind of rough because they're coming from that Aftermath leak, but there's way too much crazy stuff in here to not talk about it. So, one of the biggest thing that's going on with the Aftermath is a whole number of planeswalkers are no longer planeswalkers. Their sparks have ruptured, rendering them still special in a way. They are still powerful mages in their own right, but they are no longer able to travel through the blind eternities. And we get to see a whole number of affected planeswalkers. You see, Nahiri, not only is she desparked, but she has also been cured of her Phyrexian contagion. Now, this may have been because of contact with that angelic halo. It's unclear, but regardless, she is hale and whole, but unable now to travel through the blind eternities. A more interesting figure to me is Ob Nixilis. He is now known as the Captive Kingpin. So, Ob Nixilis has actually gone through desparking before. He lost his spark in the past, reignited it, and now here he is once again without his spark. And he is stuck on the world of Capenna, still leading his crime family, but obviously this is nothing because he originally came to the plane just to secure a supply of Halo. The Halo is now gone, but Ob Nixilis remains, which makes him a very interesting figure I'd like to see more with in the future. Now, Karn lost his spark in the written story. We already know about that, so we get to see his new version in this story. After that, we've got a more compelling loss in the form of Calix, because Calix is a very strange planeswalker. He was created rather than born. Most planeswalkers are born with a planeswalker spark. Calix is an artificial planeswalker, basically born out of dream stuff. Clothis, the goddess of destiny, created Calix to track down Elspeth. So Calix is basically a being woven around a planeswalker spark who is like a bloodhound who is built specifically to chase after Elspeth. It is his only purpose. He feels a longing to follow after her wherever she goes. And now he is bereft of his spark, but he's not going to be bereft of that desire to track down Elspeth. So being unable to now zip through the blind eternities after her on her trail is going to eat at him night and day. I wonder if it might actually drive him insane. So this is a very compelling character to take a look at again further down the road. We get to take a look at Narset. She is called the Enlightened Exile, so at this point, she might just be hanging out on some far-flung plane that we don't know about. It's kind of vague with her. Another one that we don't know that much about is Kiora. She is depicted underwater and lording over some kind of aquatic realm. This could be something like Theros, where she's originally from, or it could be another plane altogether. But obviously, her capabilities are now diminished. She could travel from world to world, dealing with the different aquatic beings of those worlds and summoning them from one body of water into another to her side, and that is no longer going to be an option for her. Samut is also a victim of losing her Planeswalker spark. Honestly, it feels like she didn't get to enjoy it for that long. She originally ignited her spark out of joy, which is a rare occurrence. That was when Hazoret praised her, and it was basically so much for her that boom, she goes hurtling through the multiverse and doesn't know what's going on. And then you've got another scenario where she's stuck in the War of the Spark, and that's a terrible situation to be in. And then boom, her spark is gone. So when it comes to the Planeswalkers that we're talking about, I feel like Samut is one of the most hosed by what happened here. Then you've got Sarkhan. Now, Sarkhan's probably fine. He's depicted hanging out with dragons. He takes the form of dragons and flies around with them. Dragons are his supreme life forms, so he may be stuck where he is, but at least he's stuck with dragons, and that's all Sarkhan really needs. Then we see Nissa, and she has reconnected to nature after being cleansed of the Phyrexian corruption by Karn. So it's nice to see her back in her original form. So all of these planeswalkers are no longer planeswalkers and are just epic level mortals. Now going forwards, they're no longer going to be able to use their powers to travel the multiverse. However, when the multiverse closes a door, it opens a window. Because what's happened now is there is essentially bridges interconnecting all of the different planes. Kaldheim's world tree has been reborn. Now it's unclear if that world tree is part of the rupturing of the Planeswalker sparks, and if it's what is connecting all of the different realms. It also might be Ren reborn as Realmbreaker. It's unclear as to if that's what's going to happen, but I don't believe that it's Ren. So we're most likely dealing with the situation where the new world tree that's being birthed is actually bigger and stronger and reaches out between the different planes of existence. Because we see depicted in one particular piece of art that Nissa and Chandra are headed together through an open portal. And this is shown in a very idyllic and peaceful way, showing that there is no kind of danger and that this is a stable sort of portal to be able to travel through. This is a big change from a story perspective. We're going to see characters from all kinds of different worlds able to travel and not stuck to their own plane. This also means that stories probably aren't always going to focus as much around planeswalkers, and it opens us up overall for more world building as well, which I appreciate. It's not just desparked planeswalkers that we get to see in the aftermath. We do get to see a range of different survivors from different parts of the multiverse. Starting out with Tazri, she is basically helping to rebuild over on Zendikar. We get to see Sigarda in her majesty, and she is helping out the denizens of Innistrad. One of my favorites is over on Kaldheim, where we have Arnie Metalbrow. He originally had a broken troll horn embedded in his forehead as a testament to his toughness. And now, aside it, he has a gigantic metal horn that is busted off of a Phyrexian, and he showed pointing up to it as he regales his fellows as to how he got it embedded there. This is epic fun. And speaking of epic, one of my favorite characters in the March of the Machine storyline was Tyvar. Seeing him leading the elves after the results of the Phyrexian invasion is very gratifying. Over on Kaladesh, you've got Pia Nalaar. She's leading the revival there. We have Danitha. She is now leading the Benalians. Over on Eldraine, Ayara has been cured of her Phyres, and her troops are clearing all of the remains of the Phyrexians away. We also get to see that Nashi did survive the Phyrexian invasion and is still with that ghost memory of Tamiyo. We also get a peek at what's going on a number of different planes. On Ikoria, the survivors are led by Jurinia. They had to leave Drannith behind. It's completely ruins now, and it's just a playground for monsters. Over on Ixalan, they've started to create new defenses against future invasions in the form of golden dinosaur thopters that ply the skies. In one of the more far-flung locations, we're shown Vesuva with this lovely drifter shown above the waters. On Innistrad, we get to see that the Markov lineage of vampires are thriving. Things are absolutely wild on Theros, where Elspeth is literally now worshipped as a god. Everything isn't perfect. Over on Kamigawa, there are some demons that are taking advantage of the turmoil that was caused by Phyrexia to come in and tear people apart. On Dominaria over in Urborg, the scavengers are happily celebrating the resources that are left behind by all these destroyed Phyrexians. On Strixhaven, we can see that they're actually rebuilding the campus, and at the same time, over in Kaldheim, in Starnheim specifically, which is their version of Valhalla, all of the victorious ghosts of the Phyrexian battle have the most epic feast. And we get to finish off with the classic ending of Chandra and Nissa walking hand in hand, calmly and safely wherever they desire to go. And I just love that as a way of ending things off. So, Thanks for coming and hanging out for this video. If you enjoy what we're doing here, you can support the channel through Patreon or by joining the channel membership. Big thank you to the channel's patrons and members. You guys are fantastic. Now, go enjoy some more videos on this channel because remember, my friends, lore is life.